Mumia spoke out for the MOVE commune before this. He was in prison at the time of the firebombing and has fought for them ever since. Now, to the racist U.S. rulers, Mumia has always symbolized black revolt, something that they hate and detest. Their capitalist system is built on chattel slavery, which it took a civil war, which was a bourgeois revolution, to abolish. But it did not abolish the racism built into the system's bedrock. It will take a third American Revolution to do that. Now, last January, the U.S. Supreme Court vacated the Third Circuit Court's March 2008 ruling, which had upheld the decision from 2001 overturning the death sentence. So the hearing today, in this hearing today, the prosecution is trying to reinstate Mumia's death sentence. Every court for the last 29 years has been driving towards death through legal lynching, or, as in the Yon 2001 decision, entombment for life in prison. And court after court has refused to hear the overwhelming evidence of Mumia's innocence, including but not limited to the sworn affidavit by Arnold Beverly that he, not Mumia, killed Daniel Faulkner. He was hired to do so, and he carried out the murder. So we have always warned against illusions that Mumia would get justice from the capitalist courts. These illusions they die hard, they still abound. Many groups, if not most groups, place their reliance on the courts and politicians of the capitalist class enemy. So we had years and years of subordinating the call for Mumia's freedom to begging for a new fair trial from all these groups, pinning their hopes on the judiciary. Now, more recently, they pin their hopes on petitions to Barack Obama or his Attorney General Eric Holder. The petition circulating that's meant for Obama calls on the Commander-in-Chief of U.S. imperialism, who has made very clear his support for capital punishment, to speak out against the death penalty for Mumia Abu-Jamal. The petition to Eric Holder pleads, inasmuch as there is no other court to which Mumia Abu-Jamal can appeal for justice, we turn to you for remedy, and begs for a civil rights investigation to be carried out by the very same Justice Department whose job it is to oversee the capitalist frame-up machinery. So I want to ask about these illusions. Did you believe that when the Labor government brought in their so-called war on terror, demonizing Muslims, that was really about keeping you safe from bombings? Did you believe that the imperialists spent 7 years slaughtering Iraqis to bring democracy to the Iraqi masses? The British imperialists, the Americans are still doing it. Do you think that the savage cuts to jobs and benefits by the condemned government are necessary because we're all in this together? Do you think that the torture of black prisoners, which is routine, or the death of Jimmy Mubenga as he was being deported by the government's hired ghouls are regrettable exceptions by a few bad apples?
No.
So why fall for the con that these imperialist butchers, in Mumia's case, will bestow justice? The U.S. rulers deem Mumia's death a necessity for maintaining their boots on the necks of the black population and of the working class as a whole. Just like when FBI Chief J. Edgar Hoover, in his War on the Black Panther Party in 1968, deemed, quote, the Negro youth and moderates must be made to understand that if they succumb to revolutionary teachings, they will be dead revolutionaries. They don't say it that way anymore, but that's the same principle. So we say what is needed is mass protest centered on the social power of the working class. When Mumia faced an August 1995 execution date, an outpouring of international protest from South Africa to India to Britain and to the US, crucially including trade unions representing hundreds of thousands of workers, helped to stay the executioner's hand. In a recent article in the Spartacus League newspaper, Workers' Vanguard, we said, the fight to free Mumia must be based on working class struggle against the capitalist courts and their state, including the fight to abolish the racist death penalty. Only when the multiracial proletariat led by a vanguard party seizes power through socialist revolution will there be an end to the murderous repression and exploitation carried out by the capitalist system. So we reject the program, all the programs of crawling to the racist rulers for justice. We also reject any program that upholds the divisions among working people, black, white, Asian, native-born versus immigrant, divisions that are cherished by the imperialists everywhere. The program of black nationalism is based on despair of achieving equality for black people in the European and American imperialist centers, promoting separation between the struggles of black people against racism and the struggles of the working class, which must be and are indeed one struggle. It would deny black people their birthright, the wealth of this country that their labor has played a decisive part in creating. We are for voluntary integration based on full equality for all, the precondition for which is the overthrow of the capitalist order through socialist revolution.
Well, the history needs to be rewritten.
So the fight to free Mumia Abu-Jamal, for that fight to move forward, there must be clear understanding of the class forces we are up against and the building of class struggle opposition to the capitalist system and the rulers who have entombed this innocent man for more than half his life. Free Mumia now! Abolish the racist death penalty! Free Mumia now!
Abolish the racist death penalty!
Free
Mumia now! Abolish the racist death penalty!
Thank you.
All right. We're going to have a break from the speeches for a minute because I'm getting really cold and I see some people freezing up. So we need to hot it back up again. Don't it? Yes, that's right. That's right. That's right. So we're going to get back into some chants and then we're going to get back into some...
Don't remember, forget now, 6 o'clock.
People can take some shakers as well and... You know, and people can take some shakers and get involved in the percussion. You can.
Bear in mind at 6 o'clock. Bear in mind at 6 o'clock. Okay. Yeah.
And I met Romano Africa in and that's in Birmingham.
All right. Just before, there's just one minute that this sister's gonna have to say something really quickly, and then we're gonna get into the chant screening before we go to Philadelphia.
Greetings, brothers and sisters, members of the black community, comrades. As someone who has since 2001 working with those in the black community for the liberation of Mumia Abu-Jamal, I stand here today in front of you, asking you to raise up your voices louder than ever before, so that we as African people can be seen to be defending our brother, our leader, who has given so much for us. The least we can ask at this most challenging of time of ourselves is that we commit ourselves even more greater than ever before. We intend to see Mumia free from jail by any means necessary. This has to be part of a continuous action until he is liberated. Free Mumia now! Raise up your voices! Beat those drums! Let them know! We're here for Mumia! We love Mumia! He's a father to us! He's a role model for us! Black liberation time! Mumia time! Now! Free up our brother! Long live! Revolutionary spirit! Give thanks and praises! Aye!
Thank you very much, Mr. Daniel.
Don't forget 6 o'clock we have to connection with USA. Okay.
We've got to, what's the time? What time do you enter? 10:30. Right, now...
Alright, just to refresh people
along as well.
who don't have the slogan sheet, I'm going to do the call and the response. I'm going to point to
what we
you
need to
when the
test-
response is, you know, so you know what to say.
Okay. Smaller. Alright, okay, fair enough.
So I'm going to start with a couple of new ones as well.
Thing over it. Yeah, okay. Come through there.
Where we say, down with judicial killings, end summary execution. Down with judicial killings, end summary execution. Okay, so that's one. Then the next one is Sabo's Court, Kangaroo Court. Sabo's Court,
Kangaroo Court!
Sabo's Court,
Kangaroo Court!
Sabo's Court.
Kangaroo Court!
Down with judicial killings. Down with judicial killings.
And summary execution.
Down with judicial killings.
And summary execution.
All right.
So